Greetings and salutations. How you doing out there, YouTube? My name is Steven, and I am not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Las Vegas blogger. I'm based right here, originally from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I've lived in Vegas for the better part of 16 years. Now, 2020 was the year that never stopped. It just seems like it went on forever, although it really was just 365 days. This is the first part of a multi-part series, going to be 4 parts long, going over what we went through in 2020 in Las Vegas, and hopefully it can touch upon some of the fears we might have had and some of the kind of coming to terms with what we have to live with globally. I'm doing this in 4 different parts, so I hope you would subscribe to the channel. Also, like, share while you're doing that, and hit us a comment below. What was your craziest part of 2020 for you? Not Vegas related, just you in general. Did you lose a job? Did you get a promotion? Did you make less money? Did you make more money? Did you have a baby? Did you have a loss in the family? Whatever you feel comfortable saying in the comments, that really supports us. I've handpicked a bunch of these videos. There was a lot of them. If I did this all as one video, it would be well over 2 or 3 hours long. Even this video, it's going to be about an hour. So if you guys want to watch through, I'll try to learn how to do those little chapters so you can select it on your phone or on your desktop browser and you can go to and jump around. But this is the video that I want to show you guys. If you guys want to support us further, of course, we have the channel memberships and we have Patreon. I'll be updating those tomorrow. You guys get your name in the credits and other perks at certain levels. We also have Facemasks.com. Show you these. The wife makes these. No S at the end. The only 2 that you'll ever need. These ones are made, handcrafted by her. We ship them out. Buy one at $25, get one free. So they're 2 for $25. And we have over 60 patterns at VegasFaceMask.com. There's a super weird mutant version of this going around the world right now. We do ship these internationally, so free shipping in the United States and a few bucks more for international. Reach us at the website in the first comment of this video. Now, without further ado, now that we've supported the wife and the family out here, you know what? We're going to look at the first 3 months, January, February, and March. I'm going to give you a little commentary before these videos, just a little bit. This one's already too long in terms of commentary. You want to make this punchy and to the point. The first video we have coming up is actually Consumer Electronics Show 2020. We're not doing consumer electronics coming up next year, so in person, they're going to be doing it virtually online. I'm supposed to register soon. Thank you to the person that told me about that, and that got me in last year. I don't know if I should say your name on camera because, you know, it's sensitive information, but yeah, it's a Consumer Electronics Show. We have a montage, and here we go. Look at all those people and the lack of face masks. Remember? Yeah, I remember. Pepperidge Farms remembers. But my next video talks about a big sale that happened right at the beginning of the year that we were talking about in the fall. It was a rumor. People said I was crazy to say it. But the MGM Grand and the Mandalay Bay were both sold to another company. So back in January, we were caring more about what that would mean for, the business and the future of Las Vegas. Yeah, some of us were realizing this thing that was happening in China, but nobody thought it was going to be what it turned out to be. So we were back to business in January, talking about the big sale of the MGM and the Mandalay Bay. Let's take a look at that video right now. The Mandalay Bay and the MGM Grand have been sold, something I talked about with the MGM Grand on this very channel about 3-4 weeks ago when people said, that's not a deal. Why are you reporting fake news? Turns out it was a deal in progress. So what does this mean for Las Vegas? What does this mean for you? Why is this even happening? Is this a sign of the impending doom that other YouTube channels like to talk about and the markets like to speculate on? My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Like, share, subscribe, and comment what you think this means for your future play or vacations in Vegas or the city in general or the economy as an overall whole. I have a good feeling about what you might say based on previous videos I did just like this, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe this channel because I do talk about these kinds of things when I can get the information first. I try to bring it to YouTube first. No, I'm not taking credit for breaking this deal. This is all over the media right now. So, Blackstone Group is a big player in Las Vegas now. Considering they own the Bellagio, the Cosmopolitan, and now Mandalay Bay and the MGM Grand, and heavens knows what else they might own. If you know what else Blackstone owns out here, make sure you go ahead and tell us in the comments. So it turns out that on January 14th, today, it was announced that a $2.5 billion deal went through. This means that the land and the buildings that the MGM Grand and the Mandalay Bay sit on are going to be owned by Blackstone. MGM Resorts International entered into a new trust with them. It gives them something called OP units, which is a financial thing that I believe, from what I've researched, and it's very, very complicated, a little bit above my level of understanding, and I'll leave you some comments to research it below if you'd like. I think it means that there's a bunch of stuff done that allows the company that is selling it to loosen up some tax liability for the sale and pull revenue out of it in the future if they want to. It's kind of like when you do a 1031 real estate exchange or a capital gains tax to help them see some money out of it without having to get hit for the sale of the property. Okay, nonetheless, it doesn't mean that the MGM Grand and the Bellagio are going to change names. Not necessarily. Those are still going to be managed by MGM Resorts International. Blackstone's not a hotel company, they're not a casino company, but it also frees up a bunch of cash for MGM Resorts. The company's been going to this direction that makes it so they have all this money to play with, but they don't own the actual properties they're in. Consider this, you're walking around all these houses and condos, you enter into a big deal with your landlord that says that you can go ahead and build a gazebo in your backyard, you can renovate your kitchen whichever way you might like, just pay your rents on time for the next 15 or 20 years and we'll be good. And by the way, how about you guys can get a little bit of money out of this property if the land increases because you did these improvements. Well, that's like what a trust is. And the trust means that they own a bunch of land, Blackstone does. MGM Resorts gets to sit in the land. MGM Resorts gets to operate their casinos just as they would, so your M life and none of that goes away. And if the properties go up in value, there's money in it for MGM Grand down the future, I think. Now, I'm not a real estate expert. I'm working on that part of my life, entering into a new part of my life. But this just means that business as usual at these properties. There's a new landlord in town. MGM's going to pay some rent to that landlord. And hopefully at the end of the day, everybody's profitable. It also means that there's going to be probably no big changes coming up to these properties. Sorry guys, I don't see resort fees going away anytime soon. I don't see a reason why the parking would suddenly be free. Now, whether or not this has anything to do with the October 1st incident, that's probably not why the Mandalay Bay is involved. The Mandalay Bay is actually a lucrative property right now, considering it sits on Las Vegas Boulevard in the Hacienda area, and that's right on the other side of the Raiders Stadium, the Allegiant Stadium. So that video I did yesterday that said big changes coming up at Mandalay Bay, wow, less than 24 hours later, some big changes just happened at the Mandalay Bay. And I didn't know about this yesterday, but I'm glad I posted that video when I did. So there it is, folks. The land trust is formed. MGM Resorts is now a tenant in the MGM Grand and the Mandalay Bay. Blackstone Group increases their real estate portfolio. Resort fees and parking is probably not going away, but MGM has $8.4 billion over the other sales that they did of the Circus and the Bellagio in order to have some fun, build some casinos in Tokyo or wherever they want to build them, because apparently they're getting out of the land ownership business. They're a casino company that's going digital with online sports betting, different types of gaming, and they see the future not as a landowner in Las Vegas, but as a tenant in a long-term lease with a big, huge property owner like Blackstone, making more profits, more of that money. What do you think about this? Be sure you like, share, subscribe on this video. I like to keep these simply explained videos short as I can. I hope I covered all the bases. If you're an expert in real estate, you give us a financial education below, and I'm going to link up some links so you guys can get a better understanding of the whole thing. I had to read them 3 times. They're complicated. Thanks for watching, sharing, liking. We'll catch you in another video on the flip side right here on Not Leaving Las Vegas. Bye-bye. This next video from January the 27th kind of covers the Raiders Stadium, Allegiant Stadium development. We knew it was going to be called Allegiant. We knew the Raiders were coming. They were going to be playing in September. What we didn't know is that there would be no fans in the stands, and we didn't know what the Raiders season was going to be like. Raider Nation, you always got next year. You got Gruden. He's a great coach. If you're not a football fan, don't worry. I don't linger on that stuff much on the channel. So the Raider Stadium update, this would be one of the kind of second to last updates I did. The Raider Stadium updates really, really helped the channel out. When I did the first one, I kind of got a little boost by being suggested by the official Raiders channel, just how YouTube magic works. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and share this video, and comment on this video. Are you a Raiders fan? Did this matter to you? Was it like a thing for you? Or do you just not watch football? Some people this year have tuned out sports. But let's take a look at the Raider Stadium update that we had January 27th right here on the channel. This is a longer edited video, so less talking and more rocking. All right. It's January 26th. The Oakland Raiders are finally officially the Las Vegas Raiders. And today we take another look at the stadium. It's been a while since we've been down here to see what's going on, see how it looks, and see what's happening with the completion. Is it going to be done? Well, the draft is coming at the end of April, and the Raiders are slated to play their very first games in this building for preseason, just coming up in the summer, at the end of the summer. So let's go take a look at the Raiders Stadium, standing on the corner of Russell Road and Polaris. This is an area where there wasn't anything for a long time, and now I see signs that say future site of hotel casino properties and gas stations everywhere. So services are popping up left, right, and center, which is apt. That's what's going to happen when you build something with 65,000 seats. I'm Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. And this is the Raiders Stadium. Another look. So it's Sunday morning, which means that today I can walk across this street against the light. I don't suspect that's going to be the case when football season starts, and this road right here will be one of the busiest roads in the city. Not to mention Hacienda, which is on the other side, which leads down to the Mandalay Bay. It begs the question about how incredibly busy this will be right here once everything fires up. We do have parking lots that claim their zone for hotel properties. I'm sure that'll be an easy sell, although heaven knows how much they actually want to charge for this land. It's got to be an arm and a leg. You can see the Delano, the Mandalay Bay, the stadium behind us, and the rest of the strip. There is some parking right here, but I don't suspect it's going to be enough. As we all know, parking is a big conscientious issue here at the stadium, so it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens in terms of game day. Had to wait for that truck to go by, don't you know? But let's take a walk to the stadium because it's a lot more impressive close up as we get closer and closer to opening day here at the Allegiant Stadium. So how's it going, everybody? My name is Steven. I am not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a full-time Vegas blogger. I'm originally from a town called Calgary, Canada, but I've been living down here for the better part of 15 years. Now, everything I'm going to tell you is hearsay and speculation. And why is that? That's because the Raiders are a billion-dollar organization. They don't need no social media influencers to represent them. So everything we know from official press releases or from speculation, from internet rumors. As we walk over here, we can see clearly we have a lot of different sidewalks being poured. They have what appear to be like bollards. I think these are just going to be really heavy metal poles that they put into the ground right here. Although that's not really going to go to stop any cars from pulling up on the sidewalk like the ones on the strip. So more construction, more concrete, more asphalt being poured. And there it is. There's the stadium. I'm approaching it from this side today, so you guys get a well-lit angle of the actual stadium itself. It's early morning, so the sun really plays with your angles. Let's go take a look. We're going to walk around the front as well, see the big huge balcony door that they're installing, and see what that roof looks like inside, because that's the big issue here. Will the roof be ready? Will they raise the roof? You know, raise the roof. Gosh, I know it's terrible, right? My bad jokes. So as I walk towards the stadium, something strikes me as really interesting. So right behind me here, you can see there's a giant area that dips under. I don't know if that's parking. I can't really tell. I'm going to imagine most of this is probably just Uber and Lyft that they're building out here, a staging area for it, because obviously you don't have parking for 65,000 people here. If you don't know this already, they're planning on bringing people in from other casinos where they have deals. And I did a video about this. I think it's really just follow the money in this one. Now, people don't tend to drink a lot in the casinos if they can stand out in the parking lot and tailgate. They'll tell you that it's because they want to harbor a family environment. And yeah, the black hole in Oakland, California will never be the same here in Vegas. That's just an unfortunate part of all of it. But let's be truthful here. You know, it costs a lot to Mandalay Bay for you to drink in the parking lot in front of the game and have fun with your friends versus you having a pre-game party at a sponsored venue. Let's get up here and try to see what's in there. I have no clue, and I don't really feel like being the guerrilla marketing warfare guy and getting myself in jail because I trespassed on the property. So let's see what kind of view we can get here. It's really hard to say. If I had to guess, I would think that quite possibly that's some kind of an entrance down there, because they do have stairs and it looks like a public plaza underneath. I don't know. I do know that in a previous video I talked about how the grass is going to roll in and out of the actual stadium itself, so it'll be outside growing 90% of the time. This isn't the only NFL stadium or venue that does this. There's other stadiums that do that as well. The roof isn't glass, it's a type of translucent material, so we'll go take a look at that right now. We're getting closer to the stadium itself, so let's go and see what that looks like. We have way more traffic and crowd control in the front right here that we're looking at, and they're actually starting to install the palm trees. Fun fact about palm trees, they're incredibly expensive. They do not grow natively in Nevada whatsoever, and they cost about $50 a foot. So you're $10 10-foot palm tree is $500 and a 20-foot one is thousands of dollars. And that actually might be wrong. That's just what I got told by a construction guy on the strip when I saw them rescuing a palm tree for a hotel they were renovating. He said they're very expensive. They take a long time to grow and they have to come from somewhere else. So, oh look, it's a stadium. So online, the rumor is that this building's not going to be finished in time. And so I went around to a couple of the little gas stations here, found somebody that said they knew some things and that they were told it was going to be opening in June. So they said prepare for the onslaught in June. It also strikes me as interesting that there's really no workers here. You don't hear the machines running. There's not a lot of construction happening. So it's Sunday. If they were really all that worried, you have to imagine that they would be full-bore construction 7 days a week. So maybe June is a good estimate. I imagine there'll be some kind of a christening. And one thing that strikes me as interesting, look at all these little industrial parks behind me. Can you talk about sitting on literal gold mines? You know, I'm sure they want to make this into an entertainment district. I bet you that there are investment firms and people here that will pay hundreds of millions of dollars. Some of these buildings date back as far as the 60s and the 70s in this area. So could you imagine a really cool entertainment district out here? You know, a place where you could got bars and pubs and restaurants and nightclubs. Right across the street from here, hotels, casinos. I mean, I'm sure it'll happen, but who knows how long these guys will hold out before that can actually become a reality. Or maybe they just raise it all and make the parking happen, but I sure hope not. I'd love to see some more amenities and things for the stadium. Let's take a look at the big door. The Al Davis Memorial Torch will be by, and see what that looks like. As we walk around the front, you can see the strip behind me. Thank you guys so much for watching the videos. It's awesome that you're here with me. So from where I am standing right now, you can actually see the way the roof is installed and how it's going to sit over the top of the actual stadium itself. We can also see that the door itself is not completely translucent. It's actually a tinted black type of glass. I gotta wonder if the tint is gonna show through a whole lot from inside the stadium and whether or not that's gonna kind of impede the view of the strip behind me. But it's still impressive to look at. I don't see any signs of where the actual torch is being installed, but we can see that this is shaping up to be something special indeed. So let's walk around the front of the building itself, take a look at the other side facing Las Vegas Boulevard and the Strip and the interstate, and take a look at the infrastructure they're trying to build. Speaking of infrastructure, on the other side where we started our trip today, internet's fine, super fast as a matter of fact. Good 4G speeds. Where I'm standing right now, forget about it. You don't get a connection. You can't live stream from here. Internet doesn't exist. During the Consumer Electronics Show, the organization came out and said that this is going to be one of the most connected areas and arenas and stadiums and venues in all of professional sports. But that's saying a lot considering they only have a few months to flip that infrastructure switch and hopefully fire up 4G, if not 5G in the area with 65,000 people here plus everybody else in the area on the Strip to accommodate on game days and special events. Something else that's cool to point out, snow. Snow in the distance. Yes, we have rain and we have snow. If you drive far enough out of town and high enough up, that is. But anyways, more of the stadium, more of this building. I love the way the light catches it and the way it shines and shimmers. I think the black and the silver, obviously the team's colors, actually do play well with the desert landscape, especially when this light reflects off of it. So I have to admit, every time I come down here and I actually stand in front of this venue, it's impressive. I mean, it's mightily impressive. It's huge. It's a professional football stadium, and it's the newest one in the league. It's just going to take time to see if the city of Las Vegas unites around the Las Vegas Raiders like it did the Golden Knights. And some of the criticisms here, which I can say because, quite frankly, the Raiders don't even want to talk to guys like me, is that they should have made a new team, or they should have moved the Chargers, or, you know, the Raiders have been a California team for just so long, and the Golden Knights really were Vegas-born. Vegas-born, created just for this city. You know, something that was brand new and built. So whether or not the city actually identifies with the Raiders the same way they've identified with the Golden Knights will be another sight to be seen. It'll be another tale to tell. But one thing's for sure, the Las Vegas Raiders are now officially here. The team exists. It's no longer the Oakland Raiders, and you're going to start seeing merchandise apparently in March, according to a season ticket holder friend that I have who has a personal seat license. This building is huge. This building is awesome. What's your opinion on the building? Do you think it's going to be one of the nicest in the NFL? Do you think there's going to be unforeseen problems with the venue? Aside from the parking issue, is this going to be a success like the Golden Knights have? I suspect that it will be, especially year one. I hear the tickets are ridiculously expensive, so if you know anybody who has a hookup and wants to do a blog of the game, I'm just kidding. I know that won't probably happen. But there it is. The Raiders are here, officially. They start playing in just a few months. The NFL draft is happening, and Las Vegas is officially an NFL town. Give me your opinions in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, reach out to me in the comments. My name is Steve, and once again, this is Not Leaving Las Vegas. We cover Vegas news, Vegas issues, Vegas sports. We do little films like this, too, to show you the town like hopefully nobody else can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So the next video deals with homelessness in Las Vegas. It's a thing that a lot of Vegas YouTubers don't seem to talk about, and I've talked about it several times. This was a report that said that in the last preceding year, so it would have been, 2019, the homeless had been offered programs to get them out of Vegas more than ever. The program was simple. We'll explain it in the video, but this is still right before everything, hit the fan. So I'm filming this in my car, which was a common practice for me at the time when I was working on the timeshare beat on the Strip. Don't hold that against me. I just worked on the Strip. I promise you I didn't actually sell you a timeshare. I just did the marketing side, and I gave you really good stuff. But yeah, I did these in my car. This is interesting. It's February 26th. Let's take a look at this video. Still no face masks, still normal life in Las Vegas. But after this, it gets a little more serious to current events that we're dealing with right now. What's going on, lovely people? Did you know the homeless are leaving Las Vegas? Like, I'm not leaving Las Vegas. My name is Steven, and I'm not leaving Las Vegas. It's a full-time YouTube channel. We're going to talk about the homeless people that are leaving Las Vegas. Ooh, more so than ever. By the way, I got a new job. I got a new place to live. I'll tell you more about that, but we got to talk about this real quick. Most people don't understand this, but most cities, including Las Vegas, have a deal where if you're homeless, they will pay for you to leave. They'll put you on a bus, they'll put you on a train. There's no train service out of Las Vegas. Maybe Virgin will make that bullet train someday. But there is a program to get you out of Vegas. Now, this program has existed for many, many years, and it was just reported in Fox 5 News that the city has allocated an additional $150,000 throughout the end of 2020 for people to take advantage of the program. It works thusly. You're a homeless person. You get tired of the barren hellscape known as Las Vegas. Literally, it's Mad Max out there. You can walk through these desert landscapes with scorpions and black widow spiders all around you. You can try to sleep when it's 95 degrees at night. It's not fun, my friends. It's not fun. I've never been homeless in Vegas. Got really close just recently. I'm so happy and grateful for all of your support, but I wouldn't want to be homeless in this town. It's not an easy gig. So you go and the cops are like, hey, you know, do you want to leave? And then you say, yes, please get me out of this place. It's not what I thought it would be. And they say, who do you have at home? Where do you live? And you're like, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. You have friends and family? Yes. Who are they? Who are your next of kin? You got family? They can contact the family. They say that they're going to take you in. They give you bus ticket out of here. They get you food or little Lunchables on the way so you don't starve to death, and they get you out of town. So this program's been going on for many, many years, and so many people now are taking advantage of it that last year they spent $400,000 on this program for getting people resituated and getting them reconnected with family out of town. That these folks are actually needing more money for this program, and they gave them an extra $150,000. Now, why is this happening? I have no idea. It could be something to do with the fact that we have that controversial law that they even protested about downtown, where if a person gets rolled on by the police and it's in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night and they're trying to sleep and they have a homeless bed available, they'll put them in the homeless bed or else they'll give them a ticket or possibly a jail sentence. That was very controversial, but a lot of different cities have those laws. Those laws are actually there to prevent violence and criminal acts against the homeless, because to be honest with you, homeless people are oftentimes the victims of crimes more than the perpetrator of crimes. I know that seems hard to believe because sometimes our brains have this preconception about what homeless people are all about. Yeah, no, I know some of them are doing nefarious acts and everything like that too, but this is a real thing. So if they wanted to make a law to prevent it to be the homeless from getting hurt and make it harder to be homeless here, then maybe that law is working. Maybe that controversial law that people protested against is working. Maybe the economy across the United States is to a point where it's so much better that people are thinking they can go back home to where they were because there's more jobs, more things available to them. Perhaps it's a combination of all of those things. I really don't know, but I'm happy that these folks are getting resituated and getting put back with family members. And some folks, you know, if you can't verify that there's a person available to take you in, the police are not offering this to you. And, you know, obviously they resituate youths, they resituate adults, and they resituate families through this program. And it's nice to see that the city's purse strings and the county's purse strings are willing to open up a little bit to help this problem out even more, because it is tough to be homeless in Las Vegas. It is not a nice place to be. When it's 115 degrees in the summertime and they put out those high heat warnings and you got to get yourself to a hydration center, when the homeless plaza is full and you can't even get a shower, when you're sleeping in the middle of a gutter somewhere and you're basically literally worried about people rolling up on you, it's a tough thing. So we have to be compassionate. We have to realize that not everybody who's homeless wants to be homeless. In the article reference that I'll put in the link description below, one person said they were promised to move out here with a place to live. It turned out the lady was already living with 2 people, and it was like a 12-foot wide by 20-foot long trailer. And what is that, a couple hundred square feet? That's not a really good situation for anybody to live in. So they chose to try to leave that security and then realized it's very, very difficult, which is what I also realized, find a new place in Las Vegas to live. So they ended up being homeless. And then they got the opportunity and realized that even though they were broke down on their luck, the county would pay to get them out of town so they could go back to their family and they could have some kind of a support system with loved ones, people who really do care about them. And that's a compassionate, heartwarming, awesome story that you guys should take to the bank, because it's so easy for us to look at the negatives in life. And this is me trying to do like the whole moral thing, I guess. I'm up on my milk carton right here. It's so easy for the news media to pump out all the negatives about everything in life, because that's what sells newspapers. That's what gets clicks on websites. That's what gets people interested in actually clicking on the story, so they can display the ads, so they can try to make their revenue, or, you know, they can harass you to subscribe today, 1 week for $1. But the good news is happening out there. You just got to go look for it. Remember today, right? If you're having a crummy day, if everything's not going good for you, just change your focus and focus on something good. I don't care if you got to go watch a cat rescue video or a dog rescue video. It's a heartwarming thing, and it might just warm you down in the cackles, or whatever they call, you know, give you the feels and make you realize that there is good stuff happening in this world every single day. All right, so that's it for me. Thanks for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, and doing all those things. If you love Vegas, make sure you hit the bell for the notifications after you subscribe. If you really want to support small YouTubers, go over to Patreon. I'm doing a monthly Patreon. Right now, I'm not producing any content. I'm going to be truthful with you, but the support helps us to grow the channel and make videos, and helps us be consistent in what we do. I'm Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Join us on the Facebook group, Not Leaving Las Vegas, and we'll talk to you guys in another video. I am out of here because I have a 9 to 5 to go to. Still commission only, by the way, but it's still a 9 to 5, and it's indoors, and it's not timeshare. And I might tell you about it someday, so make sure you watch the channel. Bye-bye. So my next video is the first video we did regarding, you know, coronavirus. I called it C19 at the time because YouTube liked to basically strike down any video that mentioned it because it was still a sensitive topic to them. Then it became a worldwide topic that we're going to live with for a while. This is talking about the buffets closing. I think it was the Wynn Buffet officially closing up shop. And this was the first sign of a lot of things to come. This video is from early March, before the actual shutdown that was mandated by the state. Let's take a look, and we're still not wearing face masks at this point. Some people have started wearing them, but it's not a thing yet. Now they all wear them, and again, you can go to vegasfacemask.com if you want to get yours. Yeah, now you have to wear one in almost everywhere, and some people are voluntarily wearing them, and some people are fighting them. Are you fighting them, or are you voluntarily wearing them? Leave us a comment below on that, too. I'd be curious to know. There's no wrong answer. It's up to you. It's your personal choice. I wear one because I think they keep me safe, and some people don't buy into it, but let us know in the comments below as we check out this video on the first, or I think it was the first buffet closures in Vegas ever. On March 15th, 6 buffets are going to close in Las Vegas due to CV. But first, a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. Our only sponsor is Patreon. If you want to be in the credits on the video, go pledge something on Patreon. And that helps the YouTube channels a great deal. MGM, Mandalay Bay, Aria, Mirage, Luxor, and Excalibur are going to be closing their buffets on March 15th because of CV. Can't talk about what it really is. Can't say the words. CV. It's the initials for whatever is on every single television station in the world right now in 2020 on March 10th or 11th or whatever day it is. This is Nutso. My name's Steven. I am not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a full-time Vegas blogger. This is my second video of the day. This was too big not to talk about, and I hate talking about this stuff because I live in a bubble of reality. I live in the reality that, you know, the flu does more damage. I can't say certain words because, again, YouTube monetization is a son of a gun, but the flu every year takes out 150,000 people in the United States, or some crazy number. The swine flu took out anywhere between 150 to 500,000 people back in like 2016 or whenever that was. That was a while back. Look it up on the Wikipedias, folks. This one here has the potential to do weird things. We don't know what it is, so they're taking these precautions. Why are they taking these precautions? Well, let's be honest here. I know you. I know you would never walk up to a dinner roll at a buffet and pick it up in your hands and look at it and say, do I really want to eat bread at a buffet when there's prime rib right there? And you're never going to put it back on the pile of buns. But some people might. And then I know you're not going to pick up a plate and wander around and then forget about your plate after you've scratched your face, and then you touch the plate and then you put it down. but somebody might. And I think the biggest thing they want to avoid are people flying back home, getting sick, going to the doctor. The doctor does what the doctor does with anything that's like a flu. I once had the flu so bad, it was the only time I went to the doctor in the United States in 15 years. It was about 2 years ago, so it was 13 years, no doctor visits. I come from socialized medicine Canada, where you go to the doctor if you sneeze once. They stuck a swab up my nose so hard I thought it was going to poke out the bottom of... See, I touched my face. I'm in big trouble now. Poke out the bottom of my eye. She made me sign and give all my information because she said I had the influenza. And it was just the flu. But, like, she asked me a million questions. Like, where have you been? Have you traveled? And all this stuff. And when I asked her, what's the big kerfuffle? How's that for $1 million word? What's the big deal? She said, we need to track every single flu case. And this is just what the Southern Nevada Health District does. And if it's something we don't recognize, it goes on and it higher ups, which is what's happening right now. So they're going to ask people, where'd you go? Where'd you travel? What'd you do? Who'd you talk to? What celebrities did you see? Did you buy any cool souvenirs? They won't ask those last few things. But they want to know if people are going to, if it gets back that they say, yeah, I went to Vegas and I went to the buffet, and then it gets back to MGM, that could be another lawsuit. Hand sanitizer break, because you know. And so this is a big thing for Las Vegas, because this is what they call a bellwether. This is like this is a moment where now this doesn't just affect small businesses or large corporations coming to Vegas. This isn't just one person pulling out of the National Association of Broadcasters show, which I have an invite to and I don't think I'm going to be able to go to anymore. This is not just Adobe canceling a conference or Microsoft deciding they're going to do something through video conferencing. And this is something that affects you and me and you and that guy over there and that person over there and that person behind the box. And it affects everybody. There's nobody behind the box. I'm okay. Get the paranoia. So this is going to cause, probably, I imagine, casino stocks are going to go pew. And so if you have money, if you have some money, you probably want to buy into that stuff. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll tell you that if you could have bought into MGM when it was $3 a share back in 2009, when everything went ballistic and berserk in Las Vegas, you would have seen your $3 share go to a $30 share, a tenfold increase. And if you had $100 worth of those, 100 shares worth of those stocks at $300, you would have made a mint, and you would have had a nice little thing to roll over into a bigger investment. So is this the thing? I don't know. I was talking to the Ace of Vegas, and he's a cool guy, and he's going to be here in Vegas, and we're supposed to go to the Wynn and maybe do the buffet. And it's going to surprise my wife. She loves crab's legs. I don't eat them because I will go into anaphylactic shock and die. How'd that be for a YouTube video? But, yeah. So maybe the Wynn buffet closes. Because what happens, and I explained it to you folks thusly, when one big company does something, the entire market follows. So when one big retailer decides to change their policies, other retailers do it. And so Amazon has free shipping, Walmart has free shipping. Amazon offers free delivery, Walmart offers free delivery. You see the trend here. So one company offers paid parking, they all offer paid parking in Las Vegas. One company closes their buffet, do they all close their buffets? I don't know. But again, think about what I said. Are you wanting to do the buffet at this point? I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. This is my second video today. I've tried making it a few times. I said a few nasty words that maybe the automatic auto intelligence, the artificial intelligence algorithm wouldn't like, so I'm making it again. And I want to thank you for watching the channel. If you want to live vicariously through Vegas while we're all homebound and stuck in our quarantines, then you go ahead and you like, share, subscribe this channel. My name's Steven. If you want to be in the credits of this video, I just picked up a new patron today. He's going to be in the credits in just a few seconds. You can pledge any amount. $5 and up is great, but even $1 gets you in the credits. And that's who this video is brought to you by. Viewers like you. Sound like PBS. I gotta go. We'll talk to you later. Signing off the video in 3, 2, 1. Click. So the next video is the big one. This is the video where basically everything got closed down. I believe this is March 18th that I made this video. And watching these videos is funny because I can see the quality of the videos and the difference. And yeah, it's an interesting video. It's a lot to be said in this one. A lot of uncertainty, and people don't like uncertainty, and that was a major problem. If you guys, were around in Vegas during that time, leave us a comment. Let us know what it was like. If you were here on the day of the closure, because some people here right before, you let us know too. What did you go through? I want to hear that in the comments below. That might be interesting. Here we are, the first video I did during the actual closure. Man, seems like a long time ago, but action, Jackson. Select closed everything that's non-essential, but he didn't close the casinos, but he did close the casinos. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're going to talk about if it's responsible for the casinos to have stayed open as long as they could. We're going to talk about 2 emails that I got yesterday and people taking shots saying if I think it's responsible for Vegas YouTubers to be walking around promoting the city as it is anymore. And we're going to talk about all that stuff in this video. And it might get a little ranty, and I try not to do the rants because I think it's really easy for people to get upset and just get mad and start throwing their you-know-what like a monkey everywhere, and we don't want to do that because that's how animals respond. My name is Steven. Like, share, subscribe to videos if you think I deserve it at any point in this video. Hit the notifications so you know when I'm doing the new videos in case YouTube decides to stop promoting us. And if you want to be in the credits, yes, I am pushing my Patreon. You can donate to the Patreon. It's in the first comment here. And thank you guys. I had 2 random donations from PayPal yesterday. I asked them both to choose some video topics. It's coming up on the channel. We're going to have the history of Vegas hotels, the before and afters and the photos and stuff. And I have a microphone coming to my P.O. box. And thank you to that other person who's sending me some gifts from New York. I appreciate you. That was very nice of you. My wife and I will enjoy those gifts to my P.O. box. Okay, here we go. This video. Governor Steve Sisolak. I might have said Sandoval at the beginning. That's the old guy. Steve Sisolak. He closed down the casinos, but he didn't close down the casinos. He closed all non-essential things. And this means that everything is open in terms of grocery stores, gas stations, pet supply stores, veterinarians, hospitals, doctors' offices, the things that need to keep going, gas stations, home improvement centers, if I didn't already say those. The things that you need to keep your life and your society somewhat stable, those are open right now, but everything else is closed. They're asking grocery stores, begging them, please stay open. The casinos were not. This is what's funny, though. This is what gets me. And I am a capitalist. I'm not raging against big business, but they didn't close the casinos officially. The governor never sat up and said, casinos are closed. He never said that. Instead, what they did was they said, at midnight tonight, or midnight tomorrow, that's a few hours ago that happened, March 18th at 12 a.m. Now it's March 18th about 6:45 a.m. We are turning off the slot machines. They won't operate anymore. And table games are done. And that's something you have to adhere to. Casinos, you can't get around that. And if you don't know any better, a lot of people don't. Slot machines are controlled by a server that has to be authenticated by the state. So when I went to the gas station yesterday on the way home, I looked over and all the machines were off a little bit early. It was about 8:30 at night. And all the screens said out of service or call attendant. And I said, what happened with those? He goes, well, about the same time the governor gave his speech, they stopped working. So they're done. Well, what it leads me to think is like, wow, look at that. The governor doesn't want to mess with the casinos, so he didn't say close, but he did turn off their main revenue stream right now. And I was going to do a video today on whether or not it's responsible for the casinos to have stayed open. I got a thread hanging. Shouldn't do that, I know, but it's a cheap old shirt. Is it responsible for the Venetian and the Palazzo and the Caesars properties to stay open? That was going to be the subject of the video. Then I got an email saying I'm irresponsible for suggesting people don't come here. And then I got an email saying another channel was telling me that they're mocking me for being in my car. And I'm thinking, is it responsible to even come here right now? Is it responsible for Vegas bloggers to walk around the strip and tell people and kind of promote the city right now? And I'm going to explain to you, hopefully with some logic, why that's not responsible. So get this, right? You guys might be of the school of thought that this is a nasty flu and it's not going to hurt you. And that's good. I hope you have a robust immune system. I hope you're the type that doesn't really get sick every single year and you don't have to worry about flu shots. You don't have to worry about bronchitis and asthma. You don't have to worry about comorbidity. But I'm going to tell you something that worries me, okay? My anxiety level for the past week now has been a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 as days go by. And I don't really say this on the camera because I want to be neutral, but I don't want to be neutral just for a brief second, all right? So my father, who I love dearly, who is a great guy, a super good guy, he has rheumatoid arthritis. He takes immunosuppressant drugs. In men, rheumatoid arthritis is an immune disease and it attacks your joints, thinking that the cartilage in your joints is a foreign body it has to kill. That's why the joints get all gnarled up. He's been on these drugs for years. It helps him function and even get out of bed. And so he has a suppressed immune system. So I'm going to paint you a scenario right now as to why it's not responsible for bloggers to walk around the Strip and people to promote coming here, and it's not really responsible for people to come here right now. Somebody comes here from Washington. I love Washington State. I have friends in Washington State. One of my good friends that helped me dearly through my move with my GoFundMe. She's awesome. Her initials are CT, and she's great. She's from Washington, and I would never, ever not meet a person from Washington except for right now. You see, here's the thing. If you were in Washington and 6 links down the chain, somebody was infected with this thing, and you came into contact, then you came to Vegas, you don't know you're sick because you don't have much symptoms. You have seasonal allergies, so when you're at the snack bar, you go, achoo, you pick up a bottle of water, you put it down, you don't know anything better than that, and then the guy picks it up that works there, moves it to where it belongs, goes to the store, touches a box of sandwich bags that he might buy, doesn't buy it, puts it down. 2 or 3 more people come in. The stalker at the store touches it. He touches more things. I pick up that same box of sandwich bags because this thing lives on cardboard for 24 hours. They said yesterday on the news, 24 hours. This thing lives on a cardboard for 24 hours. Then I come home and I put it in my house, and my wife picks up and puts it in the cupboard. How many countless people, between somebody from Washington that didn't know any better coming here thinking they have seasonal allergies, sneezing, to the guy at the snack bar, to everybody, and then somebody else picked up that box because they're on vacation and they're staying at their timeshare, and then they fly back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and then my dad has to go to a gas station and he works the pump. After they work the pump, now he's sick and he's in the hospital because his immune system doesn't work right, and he's one of those people that are in the small risk group. But I could lose him because of something that nobody knew any better about, because somebody's walking around the Strip promoting the Strip. It's not responsible. And I'm going to tell you this, Vegas is so big and so massive and so huge that it's not going to go away anytime soon. The Strip isn't going away. It doesn't have a best by date. It doesn't expire. It's not Cinderella's carriage from the Cinderella story. It doesn't turn into a pumpkin at 12:01 if we don't go into the casinos and gamble. It's going to be okay. The powers that be right now, we're going to make another video about this because that's a whole nother topic. These casinos are asking for government money, apparently. I don't think they're going to get it. I mean, I think they have to do some readjustments, which is another video I'm going to make. How do the casinos readjust after this? How do the casinos win back the loyalty of the locals and the regular common folk, the people who make 60 grand as a household a year, which is about common in this country, not catering to the people that make 200 grand. So the people that make 200 grand are the ones that don't complain about their resort fees, although you know they're there and you might not like them, you can still afford to pay them. How do they regroup? Those are some video topics I'm working on in my head that I'm going to be rolling out in the next few days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, right? But to have a guy, a YouTuber, in his car, telling me, no, he's not in his car, making fun of the YouTuber in his car. I'm looking around, I'm searching YouTube channels. Oh, I guess that was me. To do that and then be telling people, hey, I'm walking on the Strip, that right there isn't even all that responsible, because you're walking on the Strip, you're walking past people, you don't know what the situation is, and you, like I say, you might be of the sense of this is nothing, it's a bad flu. It's not a bad flu for some people. We don't know enough about it, and there's a lot of good news coming out. There's vaccine trials from China. There's an Israeli company that's been talking about how they have a vaccine. They just put the first vaccine in a healthy person to test it out up in Washington State on Monday. It was on the Associated Press, so those are on legitimate news out cycles other than the Chinese. We don't know how legitimate that is. But there is hope, there's a will, there's a way. And so I'm telling you guys, hold off on your trips right now. And then your next question is going to be, when should I come to Vegas? When should I do my trip? I would say, I don't know, May, June. I mean, look at the EDC as a bellwether. And this is something that another channel that made fun of me and mocked me said, and he made a good point. He was mocking and making fun of me, but somebody asked, and he said, "Look to the EDC. Use that as like a harbinger of things to come. Look at the EDC. Look at the World Series of Poker. That's at the end of May. If the World Series of Poker starts to kind of cancel itself out, then maybe we're somewhere, because that's a huge gathering, and there's a lot of money involved in that. They do not want to cancel the big money gatherings unless they absolutely have to." So that's your news update for today, and it's been a crazy 24 hours. I made a video last night, and it was really super emotional, and it was really charged up, and I have it on my phone, and I'm not going to show anybody that video, but I did make that video last night. It was 12 minutes and 44 seconds.
The current reality is that life is not.
And then I get really crazy in that video. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that video because I want to be more level-headed. I want to sit down and I want to sleep on it. Because level-headedness is really, really important. You have to have that. You have to use your thinking cells in your brain, not the emotional cells in your brain. And just remember, like I've said in a video before, human beings are the only animals on Earth that have the ability to change and morph their situation around them. I mean, look, it's like Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's an old motivational speaker guy, but he was a very smart guy. And he said, you know, if you tell a goose that they shouldn't fly south in the wintertime, they're not going to listen to you because that's what they're programmed to do. But human beings are programmed to do amazing things. We're programmed to propagate my wife's beautiful succulents. We're programmed to do whatever we want. We morph and we change the whole entire environment around us. And so we can change ourselves. We can change our patterns. We can change our behaviors. But right now we have to change. And other than professional offices, which I work in, on all these different essential services, we're on lockdown for 30 days, folks. So, I don't know. Listen to your common sense and don't be emotional, because that was last night. And that's what I'm saying to you today. Thanks for watching, sharing, liking. The credits roll in just a second. If I did not mention it, if you want to be in the credits, head on over to Patreon if you guys want to. If you made it this far in the video, I have to say thank you to two special people. One person was so generous with PayPal, the other person was too. I know who you are, and I am having you guys pick some video topics on the channel, and I gotta go in 3, 2, 1, and click. Now, during the shutdown, a lot of people made a lot of predictions, and I was one of them. I made a bold prediction at the beginning of this video that the casinos would open within 3 weeks, and I was really wrong. You know, we were just going with the information we had. I had some insiders telling me things, and, you know, sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, and that's what happens. But I cringed when I saw my prediction here. I made some good ones, and I made some bad ones, and I'm not against saying that I made bad ones when I did. So here's a video talking about the shutdown, what's going to happen, when it's going to open. This is from late March. What were your predictions in late March? How long did you think it would actually last for the shutdown? Give us a comment below and tell us. I'm curious to know. Did you think it would go 78 days? Because I certainly obviously didn't. But then as time dragged on, I thought, man, I better rephrase that and reframe that. And we all did. And we all know when they opened, and that'll be in the next video. I'm going to make a bold prediction for when I think the casinos are going to reopen. I'm going to say 3 weeks from yesterday. I know, doesn't make any sense, but we'll see if I'm a sage. I've just been reading a lot and listening to a lot of buzzing around in my head, and I have a premonition and reasons for that. But that's not the purview of this video. In this video, we're going to talk about job layoffs at the Cosmo, kind of, sort of. Another big group called Hakkasan laid off a bunch of people. The state is enforcing their stay-home Nevada laws and started handing out legal proceedings against businesses, pulling business licenses. What else we got? More money for some places. A lot of people are boosting their pay up and boosting their hiring efforts in the time of need, which is kind of cool. And a major strip celebrity kind of sort of predicts when she thinks everything's going to be back. You tell me what you think in the comments below. My name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a full-time Vegas blogger. I'll do a whole nother video on how I think the casinos will come back, but I'll touch upon it in this right here when we talk about the nightclub layoffs, because it is pertinent information. So first things first, did I mention hit the bell for notifications, like, share, subscribe, and comment? When are you planning on coming back to Vegas? When are you going to feel safe coming back to our fair city? If they told you tomorrow that you could come back, would you be here? You tell me in the comments below as we go. Firstly first, when Nevada said, stay home, Nevada, close all non-essential businesses, nobody really listened. People stayed open. I mean, across the country, companies like GameStop stayed open, quite frankly, put their employees in harm's way with lack of cleaning supplies, blah, 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 just to boost the bottom line. But since nobody knew what it meant, a lot of businesses stayed open. And then the governor had to, like, put the hammer down and say, no, you really have to close. And if you don't, we're going to enforce it. And they finally have. The state went out with the police and went to 112 businesses. They gave 36 warnings, 7 business license suspensions. So even if we did reopen tomorrow and a magical cure was found, you can't even be open because you don't have a license. And 4 different citations, which means they're going to have to deal with the court system later on. I guess it is serious business. I'm glad they're closing it. I would rather have a very small problem here than a very big problem here. The hometown I'm from in Alberta, Canada, called Calgary, they have 150 plus cases in one city. We have like 200 or 300 in the whole state. So let's keep it that way. Stay home, guys. Make it good. But a lot of people are second guessing this whole thing. For example, Lee's Discount Liquor closed on Sunday. Why are they closed when the grocery store is open? Aren't they the same setup? Isn't it kind of look like a Target and a Walmart, but it's just got a bunch of alcohol bottles in it? Nobody can make any sense of this. So yeah, you got to stay home. And if you're a non-essential business, I'm so sorry, because unemployment might be ridiculous out here. Speaking of unemployment might be ridiculous, 20% of all the employees that are laid off in the state, 20% of the workforce in the state, that is all the casinos. Which means that there's like a 20% unemployment rate just right there. The other 5%, they say, could be a 25% unemployment rate. Those are the non-essential businesses that had to close. Places like, legitimate massage parlors, places like, tattoo parlors, stuff like that. They had to close. That's a pain in the butt. So let's hope that this is a temporary bump. Like I said, I'm making that bold prediction that maybe the casinos are going to open in 3 weeks. And I know they're going to do it in a specific order. But the Cosmopolitan's doing something that's bittersweet. At first, they were saying they're going to pay, I think this is what it was. Don't get mad at me. Correct me in the comments. I'll make a retraction. We're going to pay part-time and full-time employees until March 31st. Now it's, we're going to pay full-time employees until April 16th, when we presume that this is all over. We're not going to pay the part-time people, though. Sorry about that. If you're over 30 hours a week over the last 6 months average, you're full-time. Since when did 30 hours a week become full-time? That's just their lingo for full-time. You're going to get your pay. You're going to be okay, hopefully, if you work at the Cosmo. Everybody else is closed, so at least there's some of these companies doing some stuff. More money for some people that are hiring right now. Albertsons, Walmart, Target, Amazon, Smart & Final. These places are all giving more money. Albertsons is increasing their pay at their at their Albertsons, Safeway, and Vaughn stores. Smith's is a completely different company. $2 an hour more. Smart & Final is going $2.25 an hour, but only until April 5th. Walmart's paying an extra $2 to their warehouse people who already made $15 to $19 an hour. That only goes up to May 25th. Amazon is doubling their overtime rates. So if you made 15 at Amazon, after 40 hours, you were making 15 plus 7, which is 22.50, 7.5. Now you're getting paid $30 an hour after your 40 hours. That goes until May 9th. And Target is increasing their pay by $2 an hour until May 2nd. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when people get used to making that money and then that money is taken back from them. I don't know what that's going to do. Plus, these companies are hiring. I get emails from the companies, just like you do, and it says, here's your weekly flyer. Then the next email is from Albertsons, and they're like, we're hiring. Come to work here. And they were kind of funny in their email. They're like, come over, fill it up an application, talk to a manager, but just don't shake our hands so we can respect social distancing. I'm like, touche. Whoever wrote that, that's a very human touch. I like that. But what happens when those jobs are going to go away? Because we're not going to need a gazillion temporary jobs when people's businesses open back up, and the ones that can survive, the strong ones, are like, hey, Jim, come back to work. Sally, ready to come back to work? What are they going to take? Their $12 an hour Albertsons job, or their $18 an hour job they had that they liked? So we'll see what happens. There might be some adjusting that has to be done, that's for sure. Hakkasan, nightclubs. We're going to get to that celebrity that said what she's doing and when she predicted everything will be back to normal. Because opening the casinos is not everything back to normal. Remember that. Hakkasan, giant mega company. They have clubs all over, I think, the world. They run the nightclubs at MGM. These companies get so big that they become management groups for entertainment. They laid off 1,600 people. Now, I don't know if this is like a Coke, New Coke, Classic Coke thing. Coca-Cola wanted to put high fructose corn syrup into their formula. People didn't like it. The New Coke came out. People rejected it. Coke Classic comes. There's high fructose corn syrup, and you didn't see a thing. It's a sleight of hand game. Penn and Teller would describe it a little bit better than me because they're awesome. But this could be that they were planning on laying people off. Nightclubs have been on life support in Las Vegas for a while. Chaos over at the Palms opened up and resoundingly closed. It was a very bad experience for them. But then again, at Station Casinos, who knows? They don't really do well. They've never done a nightclub before. So maybe the nightclubs are going away. Maybe that's what's happening. But here's the deal. Just how they close in order. First the buffets, then the nightclubs, then the shows, then the casinos. Okay, so remember that. Buffets, nightclubs, shows, casinos, broadly speaking. I think what's going to happen in a few weeks is you're going to have casinos, shows, food, and nightclubs open in that order. I think it's going to have to be the things that people can social distance themselves from. The casino floor, for example, just make every other machine not operate and people have to be that far away from each other. Or maybe every 3 machines operate because the machine's about 2.5 feet aside. That'll come back online. They're going to be practicing massive different things. I'm going to talk about this in another video, so let's not do that. Nightclubs will be last. Let's be truthful here. Until June, July, August, September, no one's going to know what's really, really good to do with yourself anymore. And putting a bunch of sweaty people in a situation drinking tons of alcohol, not the best thing for your health and sanitation. And that's just going to be something. So they're in it for the long run. But there was one celebrity, love her or hate her, love her fancy wacky dresses or love her jazz music. Whatever you like about her, Lady Gaga said she's coming back May 13th. She had to cancel 5 different shows, but she'll be back May 13th. Now that's a pretty bold prediction because she performs at the Park Theater at MGM, MGM Park Theater for MGM Grand. That's a big venue. For her to come out and do that means that she was not able to give that information to us without the MGM pretty much knowing it. I didn't see that they were mad about it. So if she says that she's coming back at that date, I imagine that's a good timeline for when things are going to be operational again. And maybe if that's the case, we could even see some hockey happening. And maybe if that's the case, we could even see people coming and filtering back into Las Vegas. Whether or not they have any money, whether or not Lady Gaga will be able to charge the prices she wants, that's another thing. But knowing Lady Gaga, she might do something cool like a benefit concert or put a bunch of people in the show for free. There's a whole different set of videos we're going to talk about how Vegas can repair itself. It's going to be from experiences in the past with how different cities have helped their tourism stuff out. So make sure you like, share, subscribe the videos. If you got to this point in the video, just know I love you for watching. Show your support by doing that. You can show your support, go to Patreon. Anything over $5, you're going to get my exclusive videos. Last night I did one on gentlemen's clubs and scams in Las Vegas. Definitely stuff I can't talk about on YouTube because the algorithm on YouTube likes to keep it family friendly so they can get a broad audience and not have their advertisers be afraid. And I totally understand. We got to feed the beast that keeps us fed or something. All right, that's it. I appreciate you watching. This is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Thank you to everybody out there. Oh, make sure you hit up the Facebook group, Not Leaving Las Vegas. You guys can chat with us there. Now, you're supposed to make the videos 10 minutes long. I got my credit roll. You can be in the credits if you want to. Just click the link in the video. Comment the first. Man, I screwed that ending up. All right, I got to go. 3, 2, 1, click. So this next video goes off what a very good source I had was telling me about new standard operating procedures, how the casino is going to run things in the back room, and how they're going to try to make it safer for you. Have they succeeded? I don't know. I mean, if you've stayed in a casino in Vegas in the last little while, why don't you tell me if you felt cleaner or safer than you ever have? I've heard great stories and I've heard horror stories. So tell me that in the comments below. This is from March as well. So this will close out our March videos. And this is just a look at the evolving situation where the casinos went into a protection mode and then the casinos came out with a this is going to be the way we do things mode. Can you please let us open up now, please? Of course, we know that didn't happen until June, but here's the video right now. And if you're enjoying this video, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell for the future notifications, and dropping us that comment in the box about whatever you feel about these videos. Also consider Patreon or channel memberships if you guys want to support us further, or VegasFaceMask.com. I love the two-tone mask. We ship them all over the United States for free, 2 for $25. You also get this mask shipped to you internationally if you want to. You're buying one at $25, getting one for free. We do have sports teams and logos for free too. But let's take a look at that video right now. So if what I'm about to tell you is true from what my source tells me, all of this stuff right here is going to radically change the experience for you, the visitor to Las Vegas. New standard operating procedures, different ways the casinos operate entirely, a different guest experience from top to bottom that you may not even see, but it's going to ensure that you're safe. The casinos are not having lawsuits, and we have a lot to talk about. Also in this video, we're going to talk about how much money the casinos lose on a daily basis, why the casinos closed early when the state didn't mandate them to do so, below. We're also going to talk about how the entire financial stream of Vegas works, how they're going to change things from what I've heard. Now, some of this might be true, all of this might be true, none of this might come to pass because a lot of the time it's just pillow talk between Wall Street and big corporations for what they're going to do to right the ship. I have a source that gives me information. This person has never steered me wrong, so this is my 14th attempt to make a video. I've spent about 2 hours talking into a camera to get it just right. I'm just going to go with it right now. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the bell for future notifications on videos. If you want to reach out and support the channel directly, go to Patreon where you can be in the credits or get exclusive videos that I can't put on YouTube at risk of YouTube literally hitting my channel and harming it and taking away things like live streams and everything like that, because there's a lot of stuff we can talk about in Vegas that's not YouTube appropriate. I think we could all agree. My name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a full-time Vegas blogger. Here we go. So first of all, we need to talk about how much money the casinos are actually standing to lose on a daily basis. And while we're doing that, I want you guys to comment below if you've had a clean experience in Vegas, a nasty one in Vegas, or anywhere else. Have you ever checked into a hotel that had bed bugs? Have you ever had a bad experience like this? Because that has a lot to do with the subject matter of this video right now and what the casinos are doing that'll change for you all. Comment below right now. The casinos are losing $14.5 million to $15 million a day by not being open. Somebody in my live stream said they must be losing $1 or $2 million a day. That's actually a lot more. It's about $14 million a day. 15 million on the high end. Let's just put it at 14.5 million. Now I did some math. I think when I did it a few days ago when I read that number, it's like $475 million in a 30-day period not to be open. But you have to ask yourself, why did the casinos close when they did? I mean, there were still people in town when Wynn decided to close the whole shop up on Monday, and there were still people in town when the MGM did the same thing on a Tuesday. When Wednesday, I believe it was on that Wednesday, when the Las Vegas Sands Corporation said they were closing their resorts here in Vegas, there were still people here. There's people here all the way to the end when the state literally said, we're enacting our state power and we're turning off the slot machines. You can't run those. And the table games are going to be illegal for 30 days for the first time almost ever in Vegas's history since like 1939, I think it was. Something like that. So why did that happen? And the reason that happened, I think, has a lot to do with how the casinos operate. So it's important to note, casinos, like most large businesses, they don't operate out of their own money. They operate on somebody else's dollar. It's also important to note that there was a massive lawsuit against a major cruise line based on cleanliness standards and culpability for not having a clean operation. So the casinos went to this, Wall Street bankers went to the casinos and said, we're pulling your funding. We don't think you're clean enough. We're worried about two things. Number one, guest safety. Number two, lawsuits against your companies. Because a lawsuit against a company that would be a class action if people lost their lives would result in billions of dollars of damages. Nobody wants to see a repeat of what happened with the MGM Resorts International. Nobody, especially the Wall Street bankers who are trying to give money to these companies so they can stay open, so they can get their loans paid back, Wall Street profits, the casino profits, because they turn a profit after paying back those loans. So the funding went away, and that's why I believe the actual casinos closed, one by one by one. They just decided it wasn't worth their while to try to operate with their own money. They were going to close anyways. Let's just pull the plug. That's one thing. The second thing is they're now in talks right now to actually change the guest experience radically and make it a much different experience once you get into Vegas. Again, it's two reasons. It's the idea of a lawsuit if somebody gets sick, and it's the idea of being able to open quicker, and it's the idea of the guest experience being a better one with a good stellar reputation for the resorts, which right now are taking a beating. And if you've had a bad experience with a dirty resort, you tell me in the comments below. We can all share in. I know I've stayed in places that had bed bugs and we had to leave, and it was just absolutely nasty and disgusting. I've heard people say things like, there was a big giant nasty hair on my mattress underneath the mattress cover. Stuff like that shouldn't happen, right? Especially in a world where cleanliness is key right now. So casinos want to get money from Wall Street. Wall Street wants to avoid lawsuits and the casinos going bankrupt due to a lawsuit, and everybody wants to meet halfway. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing is you have to bring people back to Las Vegas. So from what I'm hearing, expect a different Vegas experience in terms of costs of entertainment, costs of basic every single daily items, costs of a lot of things should go down. Number two, I wouldn't expect to see any giant $150 million Cirque du Soleil productions anytime soon. I suspect what you're going to see from what I've been hearing is that you're going to have a different experience for the shows. Smaller shows, shows that are less production number, more value for your dollar. And that doesn't mean they're bad shows at all. If you look at a Siegfried and Roy type show with wild cats from back in the day, it didn't look anything like what a Cirque show looks like, but it was still massive amounts of entertainment. And if you've been to Vegas and you've seen the V Theater in Las Vegas, massive value for your dollar on your entertainment. Nobody walks out of there frowning saying that show was terrible. Those are all great shows, but they all cost you way less and cost less to produce than a huge Cirque show that Wall Street doesn't want to finance, quite frankly, because who knows what the money's going to be like in a year. But the big changes after value for the customer and bringing people back are going to be in how the actual casino operates. Now, again, all of this could be true. None of this could be true. Some of this could be true. This could all be pillow talk so the casinos get their money back. But from what I'm being told right now on the Las Vegas Strip behind me, there are trucks and cleaning crews that specialize in sanitation going through every single room, every single property. And from what I'm being told, it's going to be a different guest experience from check-in to while you're here to checking out. First of all, the idea of UV lights at check-in. Now, we don't know if the UV lights actually kill the current thing, the scrounge, the invisible enemy that I don't want to say the name of just to keep my video good in YouTube standards. But if it does, they may be used at check-in. But mind you, this was also after October 1st when people said the casinos are going to start using X-ray machines at the check-in desk to keep guests safe. That never happened, so this may not happen either. The second thing is a waiver form when guests do check into the hotel, an electronic waiver form where they have to say that they don't have any new inflictions physically, like any flus or any weird viruses, and they're of sound mind as well. Because that's just a blanket disclaimer that the casino can always fall back on if anything did happen and any bad things happened with people getting sick or new things happening, and we don't want to spread this thing. If this thing doesn't go away, but the casinos have to operate, they're trying to watch all of their, cover their butts, cover your CYA as it says, and that's helping them cover their behinds. The next thing would be dealers wearing gloves, latex gloves, or just silk gloves at all times to keep their hands clean, and the cleaning, deep cleaning of gaming chips, gaming dice, playing cards, gaming surfaces, gaming tables, slot machines. You know, you've heard it and you've seen it on Facebook where people tell you that, you know, there's more germs on your phone than a toilet seat, and you've seen that before, but that's actually pretty much true. But can you imagine how many germs are walking around in a casino at one point? Because ladies and germs, to coin an old term, we are all full of those things. And if 1,000 people touch a slot machine in a day, who knows what they're laying on the slot machines? So extreme sanitation measures. Sanitation from head to toe, random room inspections, longer room cleaning sessions. Right now there's some casinos that turn over rooms in 5 minutes. How do you turn over a room with 5 minutes? Even if you had 3 or 4 people in that room, you have to be missing something. And I've been in rooms at the Luxor where I had a friend that was staying there and I ran my finger along one of the desks and it was filthy. There was dust everywhere. So the sanitation standards have to come way up. Different standard operating procedures in the hotels. So from top to bottom, checklists of daily cleaning measures, heavy deep cleaning with antibacterial lotions, antibacterial sprays, and just basically making sure that everything is better and more clean. Doctors on staff 24/7 at the casinos, being paid for at the expense of the casinos. So if a guest isn't feeling well or if an employee isn't feeling well, they can be checked out right away, with the additional idea of possible medical centers in the casinos on site in the facilities, or one being shared by several properties to take people to a separate area to try to deal with what they might be dealing with, because we don't want to spread something. We want to nip it in the bud, as they used to say back in the day. It's an old-timey kind of phrase. You got to nip this one in the bud and make sure that people are healthy and safe. But that also says, from what I'm hearing, they're also saying that employees will now be subject to random health checks. Now, if you're saying like, whoa, that's too much, it's really not too much. I don't know where you're from, but here in the United States, our government contracts out lots of third-party companies. And if you're working with the U.S. military, for example, you're subject to random checks when you leave an office, when you show up at an office. They do background checks on people all the time. They want to make sure you're not taking out state secrets. If you work for the Louis Vuitton store and you have a backpack, you bring into work. They might try to check your backpack. It's an employment contract, and you don't have to work for the employer if you don't like the employment contract. Heck, these big properties even credit check people when they're applying for positions that handle a lot of money. So that's something that will be happening. If somebody's at the dealer's table and they don't look well and they're running a cold sweat, they're going to tell those people, come over here, we need to check you out to make sure that you're healthy. Pursuant to that as well will be the discretion of the maitre d's, hotel managers, floor managers, and higher-ups to refuse service to anybody who doesn't look like they're well. If they call over and say, look, you don't look like you're feeling too hot, we need to get a doctor in to check you out, and somebody says no, they can always ask you to leave the property if they see fit. But it's just to bring a better, healthier guest experience and to make sure that those casinos are being completely alleviated of all kinds of possible responsibility for this getting back out of Vegas to somewhere else. Because let's be honest here, this thing is not going away anytime soon. There's a good chance that we open the country in phases and people are able to go back to work because we have to go back to work as a society. I don't feel good sitting at home. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm rotting away bit by bit. People like to work. It's just in our nature as human beings. We like creating things and doing stuff and being independent. But as we reopen and as the casinos are forced to reopen or else declare total financial disaster, and who knows what would happen then, we need to make sure that things are moving in a way that makes sure that once this thing is gone, once there's a wonderful thing that you can just take a needle and go, I'm never going to get it again, if that's even possible, until that point comes, we just need to make sure that people are safe here in town. Now, I don't think the casinos are going to go bankrupt. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But I think that there's a lot of things that are going to be done. Maybe some of what I said, maybe all of what I just said, or maybe none of what I just said, because as I said, a lot of the times these things are just pillow talk. They're things that corporations will tell the people who control the money to get them to refund them again. And the casinos need to be funded again. They can't stay open for as long, or they can't stay closed for as long as they've been closed. They're getting to a point. It's a breaking point. It's a serious point. And if they don't fix things soon, Lord help us, heaven knows where these companies are going to be. Now, before you say who cares where they're going to be, I care where they're going to be, and you should care where they're going to be too, because no matter how much we don't like large companies, they do fulfill an important thing that none of us can do. They manage to facilitate and run huge giant buildings with thousands of employees, setting up world-class entertainment and huge experiences for us that we simply can't have on our own. So there is a good thing about corporations. There's a lot of bad things about corporations, but I'm still curious to know, what was your cleanliness experience in Las Vegas? Were the rooms always tip-top and in shape, or was it something that you would tell your friends, ew, don't stay at that place? I showed up and there was horrible goo all over the countertop when I checked in, or something crazy like that. So like, share, subscribe in the comments. Make sure you comment in the comments. If you guys want to be in the credits, they're going to roll in a second. Make sure you head over to Patreon, or you can just email me or hit us up on the Facebook group. My name is Steven. This has been some information I've been passed on. Pretty interesting stuff, I think. I'm not leaving Las Vegas, and I'll see you guys when we reopen in Vegas, I think pretty soon. So now's the time where we go 3, 2, 1, click, and 3, 2, 1, and click. And with that, we have closed out the first quarter of a crazy historical, not in a good way, 2020. You know, it's New Year's Eve today, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are reflecting on things right now. And I'm sure all of you folks are out there thinking, what a year we've been through. We might have seen new life come into our families. I know somebody at the office that I work at had a little baby during this time, and you might have seen people leave your life, which is sad and tragic. And if that's you, we say a prayer for the loved ones that you've lost. I guess the lesson here is that we have to be resilient. If you take a look at the videos, they kind of have an arc, a story arc. We start off with business as usual with the Raiders and the Consumer Electronics Show, and we ended off with, you know, how do we get the casinos back open? How do we repump and reset and reboot the economy? It's an interesting kind of story. It's one that's not finished yet. I will be posting more on this series in the next couple of weeks to come. We'll do these videos. They are longer videos, so something that you guys can watch in chunks and digest possibly. We have the rest of the year to go through. So we have the second quarter, April, May, June. Then we have July, August, September, October, November, December. Of course, I will be on the Strip tonight at some point, not necessarily for our time, midnight time. I'd like to do that with my sweet wife, Sweet Caroline, who makes the VegasFacemasks.com. So that's my plug for that at the end of the video, so you guys can check that out. She does send those out, so VegasFacemasks.com, no S at the end. I will be spending time with her tonight, time with the cats. If you guys have eagle eyes, you looked behind me, you would have seen Blackjack at some points sitting there in the video. we bought this elevated cat bed for him so he could be a star of the show, and I tried to show him. He got tired of the video and he walked off. Hopefully you haven't been tired of the video. Hopefully you have shared this with somebody. It's a chronology of the city of Las Vegas during 2020 for the first quarter. My name is Steven, and with that, here's the time of the video where I say like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. If you want to be in these credits, go over to Patreon or the channel memberships. You can do that on YouTube right on the page. Patreon is patreon.com/notleavinglasvegas. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. Get real close to the camera, and I say 3, 2, 1, click. Try not to blow out your ears. 3, 2, 1. I close to the camera. It gets loud if I do it the wrong way. Was that close enough? And click.